Yesterday, the playoff rankings / seeding dropped, and we got some information, some insight on how ESPN, how the committee views not only Colorado, but also the Big 12. I told you it'd be some massive things to look at, some big things, and how it could affect the Buffs' future on how they can make a playoff game. We're going to talk all about it today. And of course, DJ McKinney saying some absolute love for Colorado and how it was the best decision of his life. Huge testament to why others should transfer / commit to Colorado. This show, of course, brought to you by BetUS. Let's roll the intro. Let's talk about the first ranking / seeding for the playoffs. Juicy one, baby. I love it. So the Buffs come in at 20th. They were 21st on the AP poll. Behind them sat Kansas State at 22. Now, though, they're at 20th while Kansas State sits at 19th. So they are viewing Colorado in a higher light than what the AP poll had them in. We'll take a look at that now to see how it all shakes up. As you can see, Kansas State, Pitt, Iowa State at 17, BYU at number 9. Now, that BYU at number 9 is going to be interesting. We're going to talk about that in a few moments when we break down the seeding and how the playoff would look if it were to end today, which is actually incredible. I mean, this college football, why did you wait so long? It's sexy. It looks incredible. Louisville up there with 3 losses is interesting to me, but 3 really good losses. Like their 3 losses come to Miami, Notre Dame, and SMU. So all 3 of their teams, or 3 of their losses, were ranked. Nebraska losing again last week and then continue to lose does not help Colorado. Kansas State being their other loss is good because at least their loss is someone that's in the top 25 as of now. So look, I'm not surprised. When I was watching this breakdown, I saw Washington State out of 21. I go, Colorado has to be 20th, right? Either the 20th or they didn't put Colorado in the top 25 at all, which I would have been shocked. So good to see Colorado at 20th and then Kansas State at 19th. You could argue between those two, but again, this will, in my opinion, shake itself out. The bigger picture here is how this thing is going to play out towards the end of the season in the playoff. If you remember in another video, we broke down, I was doing the ESPN graphic, and I was selecting Colorado, and if they win out, they make the Big 12 championship, and they win the Big 12, it wasn't a 99% guaranteed they would be in the playoffs. It was like 94, and they also didn't have a 4 seed. They had the 12th seed. And I was like, what's happening here? And you guys had your comments and your thoughts that they still viewed them as a Pac-12. Other things, like I think some of you may have had the right answer, which we're going to go in here in just a moment, which I think one of the quarterbacks from Alabama last night was frustrated for BYU because BYU is on the cusp of not being in the top 4 and having a bye, even though they're undefeated because of where they placed them. Placing them at number 9 was huge, and that tells you how the committee is viewing the Big 12 right now in the level of competition, which again, I'm gonna show you kind of how that shapes out here in just a minute. But let's talk about, again, this weekend coming up with Texas Tech, because, of course, this show is brought to you by BetUS. This line hasn't changed too much. Like I said, I think that the spread should be 7. I love -3.5 here from Colorado. So be sure to check out BetUS.com. Use the code YouTube150 to get back 150% on your first deposit and $125 on your second two, up to $2,000 at BetUS.com. Again, love the spread at -3.5. I think it's an absolute gimme. I think it will be a tough game. I think it'll be close early on, but I think Colorado ultimately pulls away. But let's take a look at the playoffs here. So just real quick, from a fan perspective, Boise State at Ohio, because that first round is going to be played at home at the respective home team school, which is a playoff game on campus. Come on. Indiana at Tennessee. Raul Rocky top going absolutely berserk. Kurt Sangetti has Indiana dialed in. That could be an insane one. Alabama, Texas. That game's electric wherever it's played. Now you're coming to the playoff. Then Notre Dame and Penn State, a whiteout game. I mean, this is incredible. We are spoiled this season thus far, okay? So that's going to be the first round. The quarterfinals, you see all those 4 teams will have a bye. So what I want you to notice here is that BYU, although they hold the 4th spot currently, Boise State is only 3 behind them at 12. If Boise State, and I think that's what happens, if Boise State wins out, they would essentially move up in the rankings, right? They wouldn't be 12, they'd probably be 8 or 9. And if Colorado wins out, how much of a leap can they make? So that means that Colorado may come in at 10. And if Colorado comes in at 10, they would be in that 12th spot. They wouldn't get a bye because the rules state, and I'll read the rules to you right now, And I thought that it was the 4 Power 5 conferences get the automatic bid. From my understanding, though, it's the 4 highest ranked conference champion teams receive the top 4 seats, with the 5th highest rated conference champion also being guaranteed a playoff spot. So Boise State's part of the MAC. I thought there was a level of Power 5 and then everybody else. Apparently, that's not the case. So very interesting situation here on how this thing can shake up. Again, of how they view the Big 12, because the BYU is sitting at 9, and now if you're Colorado, you want BYU to be undefeated. That's who you want. You want BYU to be as highly rated as possible when Colorado faces you, because the last thing that Colorado has to do is have to play back-to-back games. They go out, win a Big 12 championship. You want to be able to get in there. So it's crazier than I thought. Again, I like weighing these things out. I like looking to see how this could be, expectations, see what's going on. It's fun to play the game here. So ultimately, I mean, obviously Colorado, you'd be ecstatic to make the playoffs, but let's. I mean, I'm always going to see how can you get more. What's the most you can get out of this? And that's how I was viewing it. Again, my understanding of this was completely incorrect. So I'm glad I watched last night and was able to learn more about this. But I don't think the playoff bracket looks anything like this at the end of the season. It's going to be cool to watch this thing week over week to see how it shakes up, because you've got Ole Miss and Georgia playing each other this week. Right now, Ole Miss is like, I think, 18th. Let me go back to or 17th or something like that. They take down Georgia. Georgia's, you got to imagine, no longer in that conversation. Yeah, they're 16th, right? SMU probably looking to play Miami in the ACC championship. That's going to shake those things up a little bit. Indiana saw us play Ohio State. That's going to shake things up a little bit. Tennessee and Alabama play. So this thing is going to be completely turned on its head before it's all said and done. Kansas State and Iowa State play each other. All of that doesn't really affect this outcome thus far. Texas A&M plays Texas. That could play a factor, right? They're the first team out right now, the second team out. So they're just on the precipice of making it. Greatest season of college football we've had in a very long time, if not ever. So we'll continue to watch this and monitor it. Again, the big thing, and even Coach Prime was asked about it in his presser, he goes, what are your thoughts? He's like, I don't care. And he doesn't care. It doesn't mean anything to them right now, and I totally get that. And that's the mindset they should have. We, the media, this is what we do. We enjoy this part of it. We're not playing the game, so we're looking at what this and how that could work out. There is a side of things where it's like none of it matters. You control how people view you. Just go win football games, and that's fine. That's their job. Our job, my job, is to look at this side of it and talk about it. And so there is people that enjoy being intrigued by this, as do I. And I hope you guys are enjoying this content. If you do, of course, smash the like button and subscribe. Keep your eyes and ears peeled. Tomorrow we'll have the full breakdown of Texas Tech versus Colorado, looking that game out, looking at breaking it down by run defense, rush offense, passing, where the holes are for Texas Tech, where the holes are for Colorado that Texas Tech can try to take advantage of if they have that ability to do that. We break all these games down, and like I said, thus far, up until this point, the only game that I was completely blindsided on was that Nebraska game. Kansas State, I felt like we evaluated it very well, and although just a couple of short injuries, I think Colorado takes it on, and it came down to a close game. But we haven't been wrong very much this season by breaking down these games. So if you guys enjoy that kind of content as well, again, turn the bell on, smash the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. This show, of course, was brought to you by BetUS. Peace and love, baby.